Hey guys. This is the part 10 for What If Naruto Was a Businessman and the Owner of a Company. Hit like and subscribe if you like this one, and also please check the author in the description. Let's start. Chapter 12 and 13. Blood. That's what a 4-year-old Naruto could see in front of his eyes. The room was saturated in the smell of it, and so was the level of chakra. Right at his feet were 4 bodies, each more mutilated than the last. The young blonde's face was smeared with some of that same blood. Each body was so mutilated that one couldn't identify one person from the other, but Naruto could. He knew these people very well. How could he not? These were the people who would be watching out for him in the coming years of his life. Naruto didn't know why, but he couldn't bring himself to actually care. In his hand was a lone kunai, blood dripping from its tip towards the ground. Naruto slightly shivered before he turned and noticed, from behind his legs, came Rinko. She looked at the pile of bodies in front of her, and her nose itched from the smell of it. She turned to Naruto and noticed him looking at her, but the sight she saw sort of surprised her when she saw Naruto's eyes near dead, lacking that small warmth that she had seen when he first picked her up. "Do you hate me now?" Naruto asked, turning back to the bodies. Rinko didn't reply to him, and instead leaned her body to Naruto's leg. No matter what he had done, he was still her father, and she knew why he did it. It was all for her sake. "I told them, do not touch Rinko. I could take anything, but I couldn't take it if they took you from me. You should get out of here, Rinko. I can feel them now. Jonin are coming. They will kill me." "I don't want them to kill you too," Naruto said, and Rinko looked at him in shock. She shook her head fervently and bit Naruto's legs to tell him that they should run, but she could see Naruto's legs trembling. Not even the blonde knew the enormity of what he had done. After all, this was his first kill. A damned civilian council member, and the rest of his family. A rush of wind came, signaling that the door to the front had been opened. Naruto didn't have to turn around to know that someone was behind him. He had accepted this already. He really didn't care. "Uzumaki Naruto," the person said. They were wearing a standard Umbu-type uniform and mask, with the only exception being that they didn't have the short tanto on their back. "Umbu-san. Just make this quick," Naruto said, and the Umbu looked at the dead bodies in front of him before turning back to Naruto. He narrowed his eyes behind his mask and drew a kunai. Rinko growled ferociously towards the person, but neither Naruto nor the Umbu paid her much mind. However, the next action surprised Naruto when he heard the sound of wood being hit. He turned his head and noticed the kunai had been stuck into the ground right behind his back. "It is not your destiny to die here, Uzumaki Naruto," he said, and then tossed a scroll to the blonde that Naruto effortlessly caught. He raised an eyebrow, but noticed a seal over the scroll. Turning back to the Umbu, he narrowed his eyes, but the Umbu didn't falter. 9. When you are of age 9, open that scroll and peer inside. Until then, get out. Get out of this village and head to the east. This is the will of Danzo-sama, the Umbu said, and Naruto blinked his eyes. Danzo. Shimura Danzo, the council member in Hokage-sama's council, Naruto said, and the Umbu nodded. Both could feel 5 chakra signatures coming for their location, and Naruto sighed. "What's the point in trying? I'm tired of this life mess. What did I ever do to anyone? Why do these people ignore me? What did I do to deserve this?" Naruto asked, and the Umbu balled his fists. "If you wish to find out, then live. Live until you have come towards that conclusion yourself. I will make sure that you live. Please, get out now," the Umbu said, and Naruto frowned. He looked down, and Rinko scratched at his clothes, urging him for them to leave quickly. She didn't want to lose her father to this. No, not like this. "Rinko," Naruto said to himself before he knelt down and picked Rinko up into his arms. He turned back one last time, and the Umbu slowly nodded. Naruto frowned, but he closed his eyes and dropped the kunai to the ground. Then, without a word, Naruto dashed off through the back door of the house. He hid behind a house and then quickly raced off into the distance of the night. Meanwhile, the Umbu looked at the room before picking up the lone kunai. He quickly sliced it through his hand, letting his blood drip to it a little before he felt the door burst open. Ugh, this smell of blood. Hey, who are you? What's happened here? One of the jonin asked, but the young Lumbu didn't answer. He just looked forward at the bodies while each jonin took a kunai into his hands. Where is the Kyuubi Jinchuriki? What did you do to him? You warned Hokage-sama. The rest of you, move to intercept, the jonin commanded. All nodded and one raced off while the others surrounded the umbu. He gave a grin behind his mask and then slowly turned around. Do you not hear it? I hear it clearly. All those who know its sound can hear it. Like the loud drums of war, it will come with a squall of lightning and thunder like these nations have never seen before. The time of the clans has passed, now is the time of the nations, but you don't know so you don't hear it, the beautiful sound of the new era. The time of the nations has passed. Now comes the time of those who stand at each other's side to take the world. Now is the time of the fate seal. By orders of Shimura Danzo-sama, the next generation has escaped with his life. He's lucky or else I would have killed him too just like this family, the umbu said while the four jonin widened their eyes. Shimura Danzo? Shit, so he is a traitor. The jonin leader shouted while the umbu suddenly chuckled. Don't worry, let us welcome the new era. Let us welcome the era of fate. The umbu shouted as he tore his jacket showing the thousands of explosion tags attached to his body. Shit, move! The jonin commander shouted, but everyone noticed that they were stopped by a paralysis seal that had been spread across the ground. Yep, the young umbu prepared it already. To the new era. He shouted at the top of his voice while the tags caught fire. Near the edge of the wall now, Naruto drowned his face and body in water to rid him of the blood that covered his body, and he suddenly felt the earth shake as a thunderous explosion flowed into his ears. Naruto and Rinko looked back as they noticed the house they were just in caught in a fiery blaze of flame that quickly began to spread towards the other houses. Naruto slowly glared at the scene before he noticed Shinobi who had been guarding the wall running off towards the direction of the fire. That's our way out, Rinko. Come on, Naruto said and Rinko yipped happily. Naruto walked towards the front gates of Konoha and looked back. Rinko did the same before the blonde balled his fists. I was foolish to trust them. If this is a start then I will make it work, Naruto said as he sped off and Rinko followed him while they disappeared into the foliage little by little leaving Konoha behind in the distance. Konoha would mark this day as the incident. Naruto felt the presence of Sakura's hand on his arm and reined in his defenses while slowly opening his eyes as he heard the sounds of birds chirping and the sun being bright enough to radiate through the dense trees in little pieces of life, while the trees swayed from the slight breeze of the wind. Naruto-kun, please wake up, Sakura's voice came to his ears and Naruto slowly began to lean up. His eyes focused on the ground for a little until they went to his right hand. He took a good long look at his hand, noticing the line drawn through his seal. Yes, last night wasn't a dream after all. He had truly gone through with it. Even now he could feel Anko's chakra melding with his own. He had also finally done it. He had finally finished the technique of the once great Uchiha Madara. Yet even with that he couldn't take out Orochimaru or even get his item back. Well, Naruto had underestimated just how much Orochimaru had grown since he saw him last. Naruto didn't have much time to react as a hug was brought his way. He turned and noticed Sakura smiling. I'm glad you're alright. When you went after that man I was worried so much. I'm so glad, Sakura said and Naruto sighed. I apologize for worrying you, Sakura. Let me stand, Naruto said and Sakura quickly nodded and backed away while allowing Naruto to get to his feet. It's about time you woke up. Did you intend to keep us waiting all day for you? Sasuke asked, but to his irritation Naruto didn't reply to him and quickly looked off into the distance. Naruto-kun, we have the second scroll from that team that attacked us. We can make our way to the tower now, Sakura said and Naruto turned back. Very good, Sakura. Then we will not waste any more time here. We will proceed towards the tower. Once we are there we will inform Hitaki and Hokage-sama of Orochimaru and the mark on Uchiha's neck, Naruto said and Sasuke fumed while Sakura quickly agreed. I don't need your damn help, Naruto. You're not going to tell anyone about this mark. Sasuke snarled and Naruto turned to him. That is enough, Uchiha. If you think that I will leave this alone then you are impudent in this matter. Anything that deals with Orochimaru must be dealt with before it grows further. I will be talking with them, Naruto said, putting an end to the conversation. Sasuke growled and balled his fists desperately, but didn't say anything. How could he? He had lost too much chakra with the combination of Orochimaru and the others' fight yesterday to talk back to the blonde, but his pride would never allow him to admit it. I set traps around the perimeter of where we slept. I don't think anyone's come for us at all in that time, Sakura said, and Naruto folded his arms. He could see why Sakura had done that. Without the seals on her body, she had just as much chakra as Sasuke did, if not a tad bit more from the exercises Naruto had her do. She was nearing the limits of her training in what Naruto wanted, and now it was the time for them to go to the next steps. Good. Then we will go now, Naruto said, and without another word he dashed off, and Sakura quickly followed after him with Sasuke covering the rear. As the three rushed through the trees, Sakura could see the seal on Naruto's hand. Naruto-kun, you were partnered? Sakura asked, and Naruto gave an inaudible sigh of his lips. That's right. I had to do it to deal with Orochimaru, but I will not divulge who it is just yet, Naruto said, and Sasuke snorted. And why not? Is there something special about this person? Sasuke asked, but he just got silence. It wasn't that Naruto ignored him, but he was actually thinking over the words that Sasuke had just uttered, and Naruto actually wondered about them himself. Maybe, Naruto said, and Sasuke raised an eyebrow while Sakura slowly drew a small frown through her features, but it was easily squashed down to an impassive face as the three raced through the trees at the best possible pace that they could give. Tower. Hiruzen Sarutobi stood in an office looking out through a window down at the Forest of Death. Right behind him was the Konoha Jonin Sensei for teams 7, 8, 9, and 10. Each of them was looking at a television screen with narrowed eyes as they noticed the team from Suna quickly walk through the doors in the dead of night. 3 hours. That has to be a new record for getting through the second stage of the exams, Asuma said, and Hiruzen quickly nodded. Well, Ibiki did say that there was a good crop this year, so we shouldn't really be this concerned with the issue, should we? What about the second team? The one from Taki? They came in just 6 hours, Kurenai spoke, and everyone else agreed. Sarutobi was about to speak more on the issue until there was banging on the door. The others turned their heads while Sarutobi gave the person the go-ahead to enter. The door opened quickly, revealing Mitarashi Anko in her messed up state. She had taken the medicine that Naruto had given her, and she even tried healing herself, but with the sudden acceptance of Naruto's large chakra, Anko's control was effectively shot. She hadn't had a great time defending herself from creatures and sprinting through the trees. Anko, what happened to you? Kurenai asked, but Anko only breathed heavily before she quickly walked past Kurenai and the others. She came up to the table that separated herself from the Hokage and slammed the table. Orochimaru was in the second stage, Anko said fast. Guy suddenly tensed while Asuma frowned. Kurenai's look suddenly dropped from worried to dangerous. Kakashi kept his lazy look, but his visible eye was a lot more focused than before. Sarutobi turned around and took note of Anko's attire. You fought him? Hiruzen asked, and Anko balled her fists. Yes, and it's effective to say that he kicked my ass. Hokage-sama, I would suggest that you do something. I saw how many partners he has. He truly does live up to his reputation. No one in the world could have as much partners as he does. I'm afraid to say, Hokage-sama, but if you don't do something then he will kill you, Anko said, and now everyone took that much more seriously than before. Sarutobi took a small puff of his smoke and sighed to himself. Anko, I am the Hokage for a reason. I know how strong Orochimaru is, however you are correct. It seems that we will have to pull up the guard for the village. We can't let this stand any more than it has. Perhaps we should cancel the Chunin exams this year, Sarutobi said while the others looked at each other. Will that be enough for Exodus though? They are showing up in a few hours to watch the Chunin exams, and if we tell them to leave because we let an S-rank shinobi into our village, then I don't think that they will take it well. They are in the top 4 businesses of the world that make up our economy. As a part of the 4, then they are also the given rights to their own shinobi force. Essentially, they are some of a minor shinobi village just like the other 2 are. It all stands to see who will make up the 4th part of the top 4. That would be losing precious funding for the village since Exodus just became the top market, Asuma said, and everyone else was silent. Hiruzen frowned while he brought his hands together behind his back. Are you really saying that the lives of the civilians in Konoha and our shinobi forces are worth risking just so we can get more money from these people? Kurenai asked while Asuma held his hands up. We're shinobi, Kurenai. We take risks every day, and this just happens to be a worst-case scenario. Especially because we don't even know what Orochimaru wants with these exams, and that is a problem, Kakashi said, bringing Kurenai to calm herself down. Anko, how did you win against Orochimaru? Sarutobi asked, and Anko snorted. How did I win? You mean how did I survive? Well, I only survived because of this, Anko said, holding up her hands, and everyone gawked when they noticed the line crossing through her seal indicating her partnership. Anko, you were forced to partner? But you said you hated for anyone to be your partner, Kurenai said, and Anko grunted. It was life or death, and this person is someone that isn't so bad, I guess. At least it's not an idiot, Anko said, while the others still continued to glance towards each other in amazement. We will speak about Anko-san later. Granted, now she and this person have to register since they're partnered now, Sarutobi said while Anko rolled her eyes. Nonetheless, we will be on guard. I will go to welcome Exodus as soon as possible. Also, Kakashi, apparently they heard about your wave mission. Exodus is grateful to you and thereby us as well. So much so that they requested an audience with Team 7. So Kakashi, after I make the announcement, or if Team 7 doesn't make it, then I will have them report to the Hokage mansion. All are to come and be on time, understood? Sarutobi emphasized while Kakashi's sweat dropped. I am not that bad, am I? Those were all legitimate excuses, Kakashi said while everyone else rolled their eyes. Yeah, whatever, Kakashi, Anko said, bringing others back to her. So Anko, who is this person that partnered with you? Now this is someone I'd like to see, Kurenai said while Anko smiled. Now, Nai-chan. You know I don't kiss and tell, Anko said with a wink while Kurenai frowned. She was ready to push the issue until everyone heard a deliberate cough from the Hokage. There will be plenty of time to ask Anko-san later, but for now you four need to go and wait for your teams. Also be on the lookout for anything suspicious. Dismissed, Sarutobi said, allowing the four to leave quickly, and as soon as the door was closed, Anko turned back to Sarutobi, who took a long drawn-out sigh. Anko, I know that you are reluctant to tell anyone, and while you are entitled to your secrecy, the safety of the village is my concern, so I need to ask. Who is your partner? Sarutobi asked, and Anko sighed before nodding. Well, it's not like you weren't going to know about it anyway. It's quite simple, Hokage-sama. My partner is... Later. Naruto Uzumaki, Sakura Haruno and Sasuke Uchiha dropped to the ground for the final time, which gave Sakura and Sasuke just a little time to catch their breath. Naruto wasn't that winded given the distance that they had just run to get to the tower. Okay, we're here. What now? Sakura asked, and Naruto turned around. We're going to go inside and do what we must. Once we're in the clear, then we will proceed to speak with Hatake about Uchiha's mark. Sakura, I also want you to come with me once our business is finished, Naruto said, wasting no time, and Sakura quickly nodded while Sasuke huffed. Soon the trio opened the doors to the tower and walked inside. Once they were inside, Sakura handed Naruto the Earth Scroll while she acquired the Heaven Scroll. Sasuke merely watched as Sakura and Naruto unfolded the scroll together and let them roll across the floor. It wasn't even a second later that a poof of smoke came, making Sasuke tense like this was some kind of threat. Sakura seemed to be ready for the same thing, but Naruto remained calm simply because the presence didn't claim to be a threat. Be at ease, both of you, Naruto said, getting Sasuke and Sakura to turn to him. Both looked back and noticed their academy instructor, Iruka, smiling to the three of them. So you guys made it. Very good, Iruka said while Sakura and Sasuke blinked. Naruto merely looked uninterested, but he continued to eye his former teacher. Iruka-sensei, what are you doing here? Sakura asked while Iruka smiled. I was set to be summoned when you guys made it to the tower. Sorry if I don't go into the complicated seal aspects of it, since I doubt you would get it anyway, but this was to test you getting information to a certain point in a certain time frame, which I'm glad to say that you all passed. Well, I won't keep you three anymore. Go and give them your best, Iruka said. Sakura gave a confident grin while Sasuke placed his hands in his pockets and made his own grin as well. Both were beginning to walk up the stairs and Naruto was ready to follow them, but something told him to stop in the middle of the room. "Is there something I can do for you, Yumino-san?" Naruto asked, and the sounds of something hitting the floor assaulted Naruto's ears, causing him to turn around, and the sight he saw made even his eyes widen, if only slightly. Naruto saw Iruka on his hands and knees, his head low enough to the ground that it directly touched the floor. Naruto frowned and gave a small glare until he heard Iruka speak. "Naruto, please forgive me," Iruka said, and Naruto's gaze lowered a little more, but not by much. "I wasn't there for you. I know I wasn't the best teacher in the academy. Even though I knew what it was like to grow up alone, I still gave you the same treatment for what wasn't your fault. Naruto, I'm so sorry that I let you down," Iruka said, and Naruto could see the beginning to stain with wet spots which told the blonde that the man in front of him was crying. No, not bawling like some child, but crying sincerely. In response, Naruto's eyes softened. "Please, Yumino-san, do not bow to me," Naruto said while Iruka shook his head. He quickly placed a scroll in front of Naruto and unsealed its contents. Naruto found nearly all of the books he had been reading back in the academy. They littered the ground in tens of hundreds. Some of them Naruto hadn't even finished reading. "We hated you so much that we even took away books, things meant for learning, from you. Naruto, I ask you to forgive me. No, you don't have to like me. You can continue to hate me. I deserve it, but I want to tell you that I'm sorry. Anything, Naruto. If you need anything from me, then I will do it without hesitation. So just, please let's start over. I want to know more about you. Your likes, dislikes, anything you can tell me," Iruka confessed, and he was ready to confess more before he felt Naruto's hand touch his head. "Iruka, there is no need for this. The reasons that I turned you down from your ramen invitations was never out of spite for you. I just didn't feel like it. We cannot start over. What is past is past. There is no need to bring it forward any more than you already have. Thank you for returning my books to me. You have made me very privileged. Now please, stand and don't bow your head needlessly like this," Naruto said, and Iruka widened his eyes before looking up to the blonde to see a straight face, but there was no hint of scolding in it, only understanding. "Thank you, Naruto," Iruka said, standing to his feet while Naruto collected his books. He sealed them back into the scroll and turned around. "This young man in front of me to be able to forgive the things that I have done. Naruto, just how much have you had to forgive from people so as not to succumb to the Kyuubi's power? Just how big is your heart? Naruto, I promise that I will not let something like this happen again. When you need me, I will be there for you. I swear it." Iruka thought to himself as he watched Naruto walk up the stairs. He couldn't stop the smile on his face before he spun around and disappeared to go tell his Hokage the news of Team 7's advancement. Meanwhile, Naruto had left the entrance of the tower behind and continued to make his way up the stairs. He didn't have to wonder if Sakura and Sasuke got too far ahead of him because they were right next to a door with Kakashi looking at them with a small grin. So you guys made it. Not bad. You're another step closer to becoming Chunin. I'm proud of you. You got her 3 days before the due date. Not bad if I must say, but I would suppose that you had an advantage," Kakashi said, glancing towards Naruto. Well, Naruto-kun knew the forest very well. "We didn't really have any problems navigating it thanks to him, but we ran into an unexpected element, sensei," Sakura said while Sasuke snarled and Kakashi raised his eyebrow at Sakura's words, and before he could ask, Sasuke intervened. "No, we did not, Sakura. We were fine." Sasuke insisted, getting Sakura to lightly glare at him. "You call that thing on your neck fine?" Sakura asked while Sasuke instinctively touched the nape of his neck. Kakashi quickly turned to Sasuke and effortlessly grabbed his arm. "Sasuke, show me," Kakashi said while Sasuke sneered. "It's nothing. I will take care of it on my own," Sasuke said before Kakashi quickly pulled the Uchiha's head slightly to the side, showing the curse mark on Sasuke's neck. Kakashi slowly narrowed his one eye, then quickly let Sasuke go. Could Sasuke be what Orochimaru is after? Hokage-sama always said he had an unnatural obsession with dojutsu, and there is no dojutsu that is more popular than the Sharingan, not even the Byakugan. Unfortunately, this seal is one of the most advanced cases. There is a reason we can't even get Enko's off, Kakashi thought to himself before sighing. Sasuke, this isn't something that you should hide. Who did this to him? Kakashi asked, well knowing the answer, but felt better to hear it from the others than just random conjectures. Orochimaru of the Sannin. To Kakashi's surprise, it wasn't Sakura who had answered, but Naruto had. However, the way he said that, Kakashi could detect subtle hints of hate in the blonde's tone. Kakashi turned to Sakura and she nodded in agreement. Sasuke jerked away from the group before Kakashi patted his shoulder. Sasuke, someone like Orochimaru is not to be trifled with. Whatever he offered you, it's not worth it. We will take care of this immediately after I give some more news, Kakashi said. Sasuke didn't reply, just wallowing in his anger of having that kind of power unused. News? What other news could there be? Sakura asked towards Naruto. The blonde merely shook his head that he wasn't entirely sure, and for once he really wasn't sure. Well, Sakura, if you want to know so badly, then I will tell you. I kind of don't have a choice in the matter, Kakashi said, clearing his throat. As the three of you know, we had the mission in Wave a couple of months back. We allowed Exodus to bring themselves back to their territory. Because of the great things they have been hearing about us, then their representatives are coming to Konoha sometime this week, Kakashi said, getting an eyebrow from Sasuke and Sakura. Naruto did nothing in particular. Wait, didn't they send a team also? Those three, Ryuzetsu-san, Sai-san, and Haku-san. She was the same enemy with Zabuza that we had, Sakura said, and Kakashi nodded. It's best not to truly get involved with politics and economy, Sakura, but that's right. Exodus must have made a negotiation with Zabuza and Haku because both are Exodus Metals workers, which allow them certain privileges that most other missing nin aren't granted. But enough about them. So to show their gratitude, Exodus is sending us a bigger funding payment than usual, and they're coming to watch the Chunin exams to see that their money and weapons is being used well. Now on to the part about us. It seems one of the highest members of Exodus is coming to see us along with a few of her associates and shinobi guards. She wants to see the group who saved Exodus and Wave from a terrible predicament. In case you're all slow on the uptake, that means us. We're going to be meeting her in a small section of the Hokage mansion. I want all of you on your best behavior when we go. I think you all know what I mean, Kakashi said to them. Do we even know her name? Sakura asked, and Kakashi sighed. I presume that we'll know her name when we meet her. Hokage-sama didn't exactly tell me who she was, but she's very important. Kakashi then stopped and gave an eye smile while turning towards the young Uchiha. Now then, let's go, Sasuke. We're going to take care of that mark now. Naruto, Sakura, this will be your team's room. Do what you like in this given time, but do not leave the forest or help the other teams. If you do, then all of you will be disqualified, Kakashi said, taking Sasuke with him as the two slowly disappeared into the darkness of the halls, leaving Naruto and Sakura alone. Naruto-kun, Sakura suddenly said, and Naruto shifted his eyes Sakura's way to see her looking at the ground. Partnered. I partnered with Sasuke yesterday. For all of my life that I had known him, that was my one dream. That was what I wanted so much that I stepped on past friends to do it. Even now I feel his chakra flowing through my veins, but I'm not happy now, Sakura said, and Naruto's eyes lowered. You partnered with him to deal with Orochimaru, and still you felt the gap didn't lessen, did you? Naruto asked, and Sakura slowly shivered. She turned to Naruto and held her head down. Everything I know, everything you taught me, Sasuke knows now. I can feel the fire affinity forming inside me, and I'm sure that he can feel my earth affinity. I didn't make a difference in that fight. You had to save me again. Sasuke doesn't need me anymore, and honestly I don't care much about that. I have stopped long ago, but knowing that the same training you had me do will be used by Sasuke, I hate it. I caught images of his training. I know for a fact that you have trained me harder than he trains himself. What can I do? Sakura asked, looking up, but she noticed that Naruto had stepped out of her view and towards the door. She widened her eyes once he opened it, and she was more than ready to plead once more, but she noticed Naruto turned to her. Sakura, do you honestly believe that the things I taught you hadn't already been learned by others? What I taught you those months were basics that even incompetent Chunin and Jonin could teach. Those are merely the starting steps towards your training. The fact that I felt your chakra back in the forest when you confronted Uchiha told me enough. When I told you that I wanted to see you when our business with Hatake was finished, it was for this purpose. Sakura, it is time to begin the next step to your training, Naruto said, and Sakura gasped before she shivered in delight. You understood, Naruto-sensei, Sakura said, grinning widely as she followed Naruto inside. Once inside, Sakura and Naruto took notice of Rinko, Tuka and Fu sleeping on the couch in their room. Naruto's gaze lowered to them before he sighed and shook his head slowly. He then wrapped them in a small blanket before taking his place on the floor. Sakura quickly followed him and lightly closed the door. The first step will be the transfiguration of the seals that I gave you from before. They are merely gravity seals, but I will now change them. I will not lie to you, Sakura. This will be a painful process. Not the making of the seals, but the process that comes after. Can you handle such a step? Naruto asked, and Sakura said directly in front of Naruto. I trust you fully, Naruto-kun. I will not let you down. I can endure it. You made me that strong, remember? Sakura asked, and Naruto closed his eyes. This is something you have done, Sakura. Do not doubt yourself or your potential. I merely provided the means of instruction. What you do with that instruction is up to you, but you have made me proud regardless, Naruto said, and Sakura's cheeks flustered up like usual. It felt good to her when Naruto praised her. Naruto, in contrast, knew just how it felt to not have any encouragement when doing things. You had to rely on yourself for that encouragement, but being like she was, Sakura was a civilian turned shinobi. Not to mention she had a normal school life as normal girls did, and that included self-esteem issues. Naruto had long drawn the conclusion that, contrary to how strong she sounded at times, Sakura had self-esteem issues. Not nearly as much as Hinata, which Naruto would address in the near future, but enough that it limited her potential and what she wanted or could learn. So where between small, middle, and major things that she did, Naruto would focus on small praises which often included a pat of the head, encouraging words, or a smile. Naruto meant each and every one of those too. When someone did something, then they deserved to be complimented. Which was what Naruto had failed to do that one time when they were tree walking, but he had now corrected that foolishness. The act of this transfiguration will drop your chakra, Sakura. I mean this severely. It is more than likely that you will pass out from this procedure. This is one of the reasons why I focused so heavily on your need to build chakra. For this process I didn't teach you anything but the basics. Do not worry about Uchiha. From how I understand the Fate Seal, skills learned after partnering do not intertwine as well. What he knows is only the basics of what I taught you. Since you are low on chakra at this time, then we will do this tomorrow. But Sakura, if you were going to be reborn as any type of creature, what would you like to be? Naruto asked, and Sakura blinked at the odd and seemingly random question her sensei just asked. I'm reborn, and what creature would I be? Naruto-sensei, what does that have to do with anything? Sakura asked, and Naruto suddenly gave a small smile. Sakura, just answer the question please, Naruto said, and Sakura just slowly nodded, going along with whatever Naruto wanted from her at the moment. Someplace hidden. Orochimaru sat down in his chair, finally resting from his fun during the Chunin exam second stage. However, the genius Snake Sannin wasn't giving his usual smile this time. No, he was sitting in his chair contemplating the actions that he had seen that night. Orochimaru tried to put it all out of his mind, but he couldn't. He couldn't put out the image of that rushing sea of flames that came for him in the blink of an eye from Naruto's breath. Never in Orochimaru's life had he seen such a majestic display of Katan Jutsu. Not even among most of the Uchiha that he had observed. Closing his eyes, Orochimaru fished through his pockets and pulled out the red jeweled necklace that Naruto was adamant to get back. Hundreds of tests, hundreds of possible theories, and Orochimaru was no closer to understanding the jewel than the time that he managed to tear it out of Naruto's hands at that time. Then there was the discovery that Naruto was just like him. To have so very few people like them around was something to be recognized. The way the Fate Seal worked was that through lip contact the transfer of chakra becomes possible. Once two have linked, then the chakra forms something of a lifeline between them. It allows both to take a bit of the other's chakra during that time. Orochimaru had also found that just like DNA, chakra carried something of a genetic code. Which is one of the reasons why fire affinity would be powerful in the Uchiha clan and not some other clans. Chakra worked theoretically in the same way that DNA did. It had strands of everything that its user encountered through his/her life, and through the exchange others learned it as well, while simultaneously letting those strands of experience merge perfectly with the person's subconscious and own DNA. Essentially, they are like a piece of a puzzle that comes together. Without both there isn't a whole picture, but then there are those like Orochimaru. Those who have a certain ability. It was a very rare ability, the ability to have more than one partner. In the records of shinobi history, there have only been 10 people out of 100 to have this ability. The ability is known as destiny. Those who use destiny rarely know that they have it. Orochimaru was one of the rare people, and needless to say, but that knowledge truly inflated his ego. Yes, it was true that partners could have any number of other partners without consequences so long as affection hadn't been a factor in the partnering. But in a mysterious way there is one person out there for everyone to partner with, perfectly never being able to partner once they find that person. Yet always being able to partner with as many people as they like until they do. However, for those who manifested destiny, then that meant that they were puzzle pieces with more than one piece able to complete them, or their picture. Orochimaru always thought himself to be the last person to manifest the destiny ability. What this ability did, in addition to controlling the amount of partners one could have, it also controlled their destiny. A way of rewriting one thing someone didn't like and creating a different path altogether. Now by no means was this power easy to control. In fact, it was downright impossible. Not only for the significant chakra drawback, but for also the mental strain put on a person's entire being to sustain it over long periods of time, especially during fights where one's death or victory were as interchangeable as the leaves in the 4 seasons. The last proclaimed person to use the ability had been the Sandaime Kazekage until his disappearance. Now it made itself apparent in Naruto Uzumaki. Orochimaru supposed he shouldn't have been surprised, especially given the blonde's heritage. Orochimaru had been surprised that neither Minato nor Sarutobi carried the ability, but that all the more made him cocky to think that he was different. Unlike most, he could see the true potential that welled up in Naruto's body. His young, healthy, perfectly fit body. Kami, Orochimaru couldn't wait to have it for his own. Naruto's body and Sasuke's eyes. Truly it was a combination that only Orochimaru could love. Orochimaru had used the destiny ability too many times. It hadn't manifested in either his former teammates, Tsunade Senju or Jiraiya, which was something Orochimaru was slightly happy about. He didn't either of them breathing around his neck. However, Orochimaru knew one thing. There was only one downside to using destiny. He had discovered it, and it changed his entire outlook. Well, maybe entire was too strong a word, but he certainly made some different assumptions, but those did little to stop his plans. Now that the Sandaime Kazekage has perished, I can continue with my plans. But with Kumo and Iwa suddenly making appearances and their Kage soon coming to be present, then this will be more difficult than I anticipated. Still, the Ichibi, Nanabi, and Kyuubi are within my reach. Suna is already following the plan to perfection. If I'm lucky, then I can take out Iwa's Kage easily due to his old age. He's been in that position too long anyway. Orochimaru soon got a grin on his face while he sat in his chair. Soon I will be rid of this body. But I must find a way to acquire Sasuke-kun before I can move on to Naruto-kun. It's a shame that Sasuke-kun partnered with that Haruno girl. He's not as much of a blank canvas anymore, but that's okay. I only need one part of him anyway. Kakuku, Orochimaru said to himself before the doors opened. Lord Orochimaru, we are ready to proceed at your command, Kabuto said, and Orochimaru grinned widely before slowly nodding his head. Aren't you supposed to be doing the exams? Orochimaru asked, and Kabuto offered a smirk back. Oh, but I did. It's night time, Lord Orochimaru. My team and I arrived a while ago. So, how was your experience with Naruto Uzumaki? Kabuto asked, and Orochimaru snickered. He's still as perfect as the first time I saw him. Still pushing himself in the hopes to kill me. No matter how slim that possibly is. However, I will let him continue to pursue me at his leisure. He'll keep growing stronger, but Kabuto, I would advise that you not make him angry on purpose. I have no doubt that the boy is as strong as you, and I don't need you provoking him unnecessarily, Orochimaru said, and Kabuto snickered. Orochimaru-sama, when have I been known to provoke anyone? Kabuto asked with an obvious smile, while Orochimaru suddenly frowned, which caused Kabuto to throw his hands up defensively. Whoa, I understand. You wouldn't kill a partner, would you, Orochimaru-sama? Kabuto asked while Orochimaru snorted. He certainly would kill a partner. He had no problems with doing that. Just remember what I told you, Kabuto, Orochimaru said, and Kabuto quickly bowed before moving to leave the room. He has it, doesn't he? Kabuto asked, and Orochimaru leaned his head into his hand. That's right. This might be the one true difference between you and him, Orochimaru said, making Kabuto narrow his eyes dangerously before he quickly left on his own agenda, leaving Orochimaru alone to contemplate his next moves, which happened to be dealing with something he deemed as fun. Back at the tower, Sasuke sat on the cold ground shirtless over a large circle of seals while Kakashi was busy forming hand signs. Now this will help you deal with the impulses, but this seal responds to your will. If you believe yourself strong enough to not need it, then it will not react. Sasuke, I trust that you will take my words to heart, Kakashi said while Sasuke snorted. Just get it over with, Kakashi, Sasuke said, and Kakashi slammed his hand on Sasuke's neck. Fuin, Kai, Kakashi said, and Sasuke suddenly screamed as seals raced through his body, making him shiver in pain before they secluded themselves into the cursed seal. Sasuke panted before he fell over to the floor unconscious. Sasuke, you have the strength to overcome this. I know you do, Kakashi said to himself before he heard chuckling. You know as well as I do that this won't help, Kakashi Hatake. Kakashi narrowed his eyes and quickly felt the presence of monstrous chakra and an intense bloodlust. It actually made his legs shiver, but he kept his senses in check, though it was hard. Turning back, Kakashi took notice of Orochimaru looking at him while licking his lips. Orochimaru, stay away from Sasuke. I won't let you take him, Kakashi said, already shifting into a battle stance, but he noticed that Orochimaru's expression was not only bored, but also amused. Oh, don't worry, Kakashi. I have no true interest in our young Uchiha. What good is an apple that is picked before it's ripe and juicy? I want Sasuke-kun to mature to a good fruitful age, and then I will pluck his eyes right out of his eye sockets, letting him die as I always intended, Orochimaru said, and Kakashi frowned. What? You don't want his body completely? You were obsessed with the Uchiha clan's dojutsu and you need the wielder to utilize it well, Kakashi said while Orochimaru smiled. Oh, I don't truly believe that, Kakashi-kun, but you're welcome to think that. Besides, I have already found the perfect host, one more perfect than dear Sasuke-kun. Oh, if you really desire Sasuke-kun so much, then I suppose I can deliver him back you for a breeding stock when I'm finished. After all, he's nothing compared to Naruto-kun, Orochimaru said, unconsciously licking his lips, making Kakashi grimace. Naruto? What does Naruto have that Orochimaru would want? He couldn't possibly mean to take Naruto's body, could he? Damn it, I will have to inform Hokage-sama about this. Orochimaru already has the most partners of any shinobi. Combine that with the Sharingan, Naruto's body, for some reason, and the Kyuubi chakra, then Orochimaru will be unstoppable, Kakashi inwardly exclaimed. He quickly snarled before gripping his right hand and holding it down. Orochimaru, I won't let you get Sasuke or Naruto. I will protect them both, Kakashi shouted as cackling quickly sounded around the chamber. Kakashi's hand started to flare with right-hand chakra as he held the ball in his hand. Kakashi-kun, you really don't understand, do you? It's not that you can protect them from me, it's whether I can protect you from them. I know all of Naruto-kun's secrets, Kakashi-kun. Even Anko-chan knows more than you, and that's just pitiful on your part. Just like with poor Rin Nohara-chan, Orochimaru said while Kakashi instantly snarled. Shut your mouth, Orochimaru. Don't you dare defile her memory. If it's the last thing I do, then I will kill you. I might not live, but at least we will both die on each other's sword, Kakashi said while Orochimaru snickered. A man without a partner is challenging one with the most. How interesting, but I don't have time for that. Just please give a message to Sasuke-kun and Naruto-kun. I will come for them one day, and whether they expect it or not, I will take them. Because Kakashi, I always get what I want, Orochimaru said, his snickering fading into the darkness as he disappeared while Kakashi stopped his attack and sighed. Die on each other's sword? What is wrong with me? I must be out of my mind if I think I can pull that off. But did he mean by he knew all of Naruto's secrets? Naruto's just a simple genin, isn't he? Well, maybe not. He's definitely more talented than I had anticipated, but for it to warrant Orochimaru's attention. Minato-sensei, this wouldn't have happened if I had been there for your son. What have I missed out on? Kakashi thought to himself before he flung Sasuke's body over his shoulder and quickly left. He'd have to tell the Hokage as soon as possible. Room. Naruto sat in a meditative pose in his room. Sakura had long since gone to sleep, and instead of the couch, his kids were now sleeping soundly on his lap, leaving Naruto in some form of peace. Well, he should have been, because Naruto's thoughts had him situated in his mindscape, sitting right in front of the gates that barred the Kyuubi from him with his back turned. Naruto stilled his breathing while continuing to try and push some thoughts down. He could feel his chakra circulating around perfectly, and Naruto had been busy scanning his memories. Or rather Anko's memories with Orochimaru. No, Naruto was not taking advantage of Anko's memories to find something about Orochimaru. Ironically, Naruto just merely found himself thinking about his recent partner. Nothing truly brought this on except natural curiosity. Why are you here, Ningen? I thought I told you never to show your presence to me again. Get out my sight before I kill you, Kyuubi spoke, suddenly showing his dark red slits glaring down at the human in front of him. Be silent, Kyuubi. I'm trying to concentrate, Naruto spoke back without actually looking back, getting the Kyuubi to narrow his eyes. Humph, then go concentrate out of my presence. The mere fact that you're alive makes me want to vomit, Kyuubi said, and Naruto opened his eyes, albeit very slowly. Well then, that would be your own fault. Whether you want me alive or not is hardly a concern to me. We're only in an agreement. Nothing more. That's what you claim to want as well, Naruto remarked. He only got silence for a response, but Naruto could hear the low growling that came from Kyuubi's throat, signifying his displeasure. TCH. Don't you dare get it wrong, Ningen. I don't need you in the slightest. You're the one who needs me. You and I both know it. Without me you are nothing. Isn't that why you used my chakra during that fight? I can give you more. Much more. More power to destroy anyone who gets in your way. More power to kill Orochimaru and take back what is yours. I know you want it, Kyuubi said, and he only heard Naruto as the young blonde stood to his feet and turned around. Utter foolishness and impudence. It's embarrassing to know that something so similar to Orochimaru is sealed inside me. I have tried giving you the respect that you deserve, Kyuubi, because I'm sure that you need it somewhere. Don't mistake our agreement for need. I could just as easily make it so that I never had to feel your presence again, erasing all forms of chakra and life from my train of thought. But then would that make me any better than the people who did that to me? No, not exactly. Just say that you want me to use your power because you're afraid of being alone and merely want to be recognized, Naruto said before Kyuubi's paws slammed into the gates. You insufferable Ningen. Watch your tone when you address Kyuubi no Yoko. I have killed more people with my entire paw than you have the majority that you have been alive. Kyuubi hollered, but Naruto was hardly fazed. And are you proud of yourself for that? Knowing how strong you are, that you really find a thrill in killing defenseless humans for the responsibility of others? Insolence. It wasn't humans who you should fault. Fault yourself for having so much pride that you thought you couldn't be beaten until you were forced into capture by Uchiha Madara. Naruto could feel the chakra from within the cage radiating in anger. Kyuubi bared his teeth to the blonde, but Naruto hardly cared. Get out of my sight, Kyuubi shouted. Naruto took a deep breath and folded his arms. I thought like you. Thought that I didn't need anyone. Thought that maybe I could take on the entire world alone, but I couldn't. No, just with less than 1% of it I needed help, Naruto said, and Kyuubi had effectively had enough of this. Don't you dare talk like you could relate to me. Why are you still here? I thought I told you to get out, Kyuubi said while Naruto frowned. You would do well to remember just whose body you're in, Kyuubi. I will try not to do wrong by you, but get out of line and I will not hesitate to be strict as I've always been, Naruto said, then quickly faded out of sight. Kyuubi quickly laid down on his stomach and closed his eyes to go to sleep. He had enough of this nonsense. Naruto opened his eyes and heard the sounds of the door being opened. He didn't have to turn around to know that Sasuke was right behind him, glaring at his back. "What are you doing?" Sasuke asked, and Naruto slowly stood to his feet. "Meditating. It calms the mind and allows for better judgment and reflection." "Has Hatake taken care for your problem?" Naruto asked, and Sasuke tried his best to sneer, but he had spent a better part of the day passed out on the floor after Kakashi had tried to place some kind of seal over his to override him using it too much. At least Sasuke got to keep it, so he was rather happy somewhere. "It's been taken care of as best it can." "Where is Sakura?" Sasuke asked, and Naruto turned his head to the right. "Sleeping soundly in her room." "It would be best not to wake her up," Naruto spoke, and Sasuke just nodded tiredly. "Aren't you going to bed?" Sasuke asked, and Naruto quickly made his way to a desk and turned on a small reading light. "I rarely go to sleep this early." "I'm going to read and then go," Naruto answered. Sasuke just shrugged his shoulders and walked off to the room while Naruto opened up a book and started reading. Times like these didn't last long for the blonde, so he would enjoy them as best he could. He had been reading a book called Utopia by an unknown author, having only been published to about 5 countries, making it quite rare. How Naruto had his hands on one was merely not something anyone needed to be concerned with. The story went on about a group of people back during the era just in the middle of the time of Uchiha Madara and Senju Hashirama. Angry at the number of rising clans and number of wars present, this group of people banded together under the banner of United Countries. They vowed to create a haven for civilians who were sick of the fighting during those times, wanting just a place to be happy. The main character, by the name of, well, there was no name for him. People just called him the One. A weird name and symbolism, Naruto figured, but he moved on. The One had great power by unknown means, power to the same level of Madara, Uchiha, and Senju Hashirama. However, most had never seen him. Like a breeze in the wind, he was just there, and the next thing he was gone. People praised this man as their savior. Thanks to him, no clan had dared to attack their utopia. People were happy with their lives and they had protection. However, that peace didn't last long. Along with his growing power, the One's popularity also grew, attracting the attention of both the Senju and the Uchiha clans. The Senju sought counsel with this man, opting for peace between their 2 clans. Well, more to say, between a clan and a small nation. The One accepted their invitation, and to this day only Senju Hashirama and Uchiha Madara had seen the man's face, but at different times. Uchiha Madara, under the cover of the night, attacked their nation, finding their nation to be a threat to the Uchiha clan and its dominance. Uchiha Madara and his clansmen destroyed the nation of the people's utopia. Houses razed to the ground, screams of men, women and children, crops burned in wildfires. The One's anger rose as he met the threat of Uchiha Madara, and the two fought. For 2 or 3 days, Naruto figured. The book didn't specify, only saying for a time. The One and Uchiha Madara fought against each other in a fight to the death. By the time of the 3rd or 4th day, Uchiha Madara had claimed victory, and the utopia was utterly destroyed, leaving the Uchiha to face the wrath of the Senju as the two came into conflict once again. "Father," Naruto slowly stopped reading, wondering how much time had gone by. Turning his head, Naruto took notice of Rinko walking up to him. "You should still be sleeping, Rinko," Naruto said while Rinko smiled slightly. "That's something that goes double for you, father," Rinko said, hardly hearing the snort from Naruto's mouth. She jumped to the couch, and then expertly jumped to the table that her father was sitting at. "What are you reading?" Rinko asked, and Naruto showed her the cover. "It's called Utopia. I had it for a few years, but never decided to read it until now," Naruto said while Rinko slowly nodded. "Can you read it to me?" Rinko asked, and Naruto narrowed his eyes. He took a look down to the Crimson Fox, and watched her look at him, as she always had. She came down to his lap and made herself comfortable without Naruto's say-so. The blonde looked at her for a little bit before sighing to himself. "Rinko, this isn't the best book for your age. Remember, you, Tuka and Fu do not age like normal foxes should," Naruto said while Rinko smiled. "Normal foxes also don't talk or shoot fire from their mouths, father," Rinko said, and Naruto's eyebrow twitched. Father, please don't try to take on everything yourself. I want you to rely on me, just like I have had to rely on you for so many things. The things you endure took a fu, and I want to endure them with you. You're our father and our only family. Please don't shut us out, Rinko pleaded, and Naruto's eyes gave a small look down. Please, at least read to me until I fall asleep, Rinko said, and Naruto scratched her ears, getting a smile from Rinko. Very well, Rinko. Until you can fall asleep, I will read to you, Naruto said, and Rinko nodded while Naruto went back to the beginning of the book. Wars, countless wars, wars upon wars, and wars upon those wars. My name is unimportant, but my story is. Listen and listen well to the words I say, and you will learn of the forgotten history of our utopia. Naruto read into the night with Rinko by his side. As he read, he turned his eyes to the window, watching the trees sway outside. He narrowed his eyes as he saw about 10 figures pass by fast. Slowly coming to a realization, Naruto turned back to the book and his daughter's pleasure until she would close her eyes. That's how the rest of Naruto's night went. Next morning, front gates. Got any threes? One Izumo Kamizuki sighed out to the person next to him, his partner Kotetsu Hagane. The young Chunin next to him shook his head as the two continued to play cards with each other, forcing Izumo to release another sigh of his lips. Man, this has got to be the most boring job in Konoha. Why are we the ones always taking this job? Kotetsu asked while Izumo shook his head. Hey, it's easy money for doing nothing serious, I guess, but I get what you're saying. So how do you think he is doing in there? Izumo asked, and Kotetsu offered a small smirk. Probably wrecking the competition while keeping that stern look on his face. But hey, what else could you expect from him? Kotetsu asked, and Izumo shrugged his shoulders. Heh, despite not being particularly interested in anything fun, all the excitement usually centers around him, doesn't it? Izumo asked, and Kotetsu nodded. But Kami, is it hot? Kotetsu said, looking out, and raised an eyebrow. I mean, it's so hot I think I see people walking the front gates, Kotetsu said while Izumo snorted. Please, like anyone would be traveling in this heat, Izumo said with a small chuckle, taking a look at Kotetsu's cards. No, seriously, Izumo, people are coming this way, Kotetsu said, and Izumo raised an eyebrow and looked out. Sure enough, people were walking towards the gates. A rather medium-sized caravan group was coming into view, and Kotetsu rubbed his eyes to make sure he wasn't dreaming. Sure enough, he heard distant shouts coming from the coming group. Kami, you're annoying. I don't need to hear any backtalk from you, Mr. No Eyebrows. I bet that sword you tried to carry around just means something wrong with you. Is that it? Are you trying to measure yourself by how big your sword is? Or is it a comparison to something else? The sounds of a feminine voice came while multiple others sighed. Girlie, you'd better learn to shut your mouth before I rip it off you for. I stated my opinion on the matter. That is all, a certain member of the 7 Swordsmen of Kiri said while the girl chuckled before turning back. This girl had light brown, blondish hair and reddish-colored eyes. Wearing simple attire for short-term traveling in the way of an obi sash, mesh armor, and a simple sleeveless shirt and shorts combo. Oh, are you guys hearing the shit from this guy? She asked while the others once again sighed. Honestly, Chimera, you both have been fighting for longest time and it's grating on my goddamn nerves, so both of you just drop it. The girl right behind her growled out, getting the girl named Chimera to hold her hands up defensively while Zabuza snorted. This one girl had blonde hair as well and light violet-colored eyes, wearing clothes consisting of long pants and a sleeveless t-shirt. On her back was a very long Ranka-san. Remember what I told you about language in front of my son? The young woman named Ranka sighed before looking back and was ready to tell the person off before a voice came from inside the carriage. Ranka, remember who you're about to tell off, came the feminine, yet firm voice, getting Ranka to grimace and ultimately hold her head down. Hi, I apologize, Tsunami-sama. I will try not to do so in front of young Inari-san, Ranka said through gritted teeth and balled fists. Indeed, right behind Ranka was Tsunami and Inari walking close together. Tsunami had been offered to ride with Kisa in the carriage, but she opted for walking, having done it since she was from humble beginnings. That is all I ask, Tsunami said with a small smile. Ranka just growled before folding her arms and giving a slow nod of her head. You are so pig-whipped, Ranka, Chimera laughed before she gulped when a glare came to her. Chimera, don't forget that you're still on punishment until I or Naruto say so. If I were you, I would keep that trap shut and let me get the little sleep I can get, Kisa said, glaring at Chimera's back while said girl chuckled. Sorry, Kisa-sama. Last thing I would want to do was upset Naruto-sama, Chimera said, and Ranka couldn't hold back the smirk on her face, and so couldn't two other people, one female and the other male. What are you two laughing at? Chimera asked, getting the female to scratch her cheek. Well, you of course, she said nonchalantly, sharing a smile with Inari. Tsunami snickered as well, getting Chimera's face to redden while she looked at the ground. Isn't that the village up there? Inari asked, and Zabuza slowly nodded. That it is, brat, Zabuza said while Tsunami slowly sighed. She quickly walked past for Zabuza to move next to her. The demon of Kyrie obeyed without a single complaint, while Tsunami held out her hand and turned back. Are you sure that this will work, Kisa-san? Tsunami asked, and Kisa nodded her head. Tsunami gave a small sigh of her lips before turning back to Zabuza. As per the arrangement, Zabuza-san. Seal your sword into this scroll and only take it out in cases of extreme emergency. Understood? Tsunami asked, and Zabuza growled, but the client was always right. Zabuza quickly snatched the scroll from Tsunami and grumbled as he sealed away Kubikiribocho into the scroll, then handed it to Tsunami, who pocketed it away. She would return it once they had been settled into their rooms. Politics was a messy business, and Kisa didn't feel like explaining why they even had Zabuza with them, but Konoha had agreed to let the missing Nin into the village so long as his weapon was sealed and Exodus took full responsibility for his actions. Because Zabuza was a part of Exodus' staff, then he, and by connection Haku, wasn't fully counted as missing Nin, so the villages couldn't hunt him. So long as he stayed with Exodus, then he was safe. That was the plan, but he really didn't like it. Well, at least Haku was meeting and training with people her own age. Plus, she was much more sociable than she was with Zabuza himself. Hi, Zabuza said under his breath before moving back to the front of the group. Seeing the act, the girl leaned to the boy's side. The girl had long reddish-brown hair flowing down her back and blue eyes. She wore a cyan blue gi with a cream-colored vest over it, which covers her cleavage, blue shorts, and dark arm and leg bands. Hey Temujin-san, you think he's angry? The girl asked to the young boy named Temujin. Temujin was a tall young man with neck-length blonde hair and green eyes. He wore long pants and a dark green sleeveless shirt. Strapped to his waist was a long sword. Not a katana, but more of a straight broadsword with a firm handle. Well, if the vein on his head is anything to go by, then I would say that he was angry, Amaru-san, Temujin responded, while Amaru slowly nodded her head, agreeing with the young blonde boy. Now we're entering Konoha. From here on, I will walk, Kisa said, and the carriage door opened while the green-haired woman slowly dropped to the dirt in her open-toed, small-heel, shinobi sandals. Kisa flipped her long green hair over her back, letting it fall elegantly. She walked forward and noticed the wide eyes of Kotetsu and Izumo. They gawked as they the group. Exodus medals had come to Konoha. Clearing her throat, Kisa suddenly gave a small smile. Hello, I hope we aren't late. This is the Chunin exam, correct? Kisa asked. Izumo and Kotetsu bore their eyes at her, and Kotetsu opened his mouth then closed it. Why you guys are, Kotetsu sputtered before Izumo growled and shook his head. Of course, Kisa-san, but you're early. We expected you at least in another 2 days, Izumo said while Kisa just continued to smile. Well, we didn't want to waste any more time in coming here. As you can see, we have quite the group, so I'd like to have us all registered for our welcome to Konoha as soon as possible, Kisa said while Izumo quickly nodded. Kotetsu, stop drooling. Go and inform Hokage-sama, Izumo said, and Kotetsu snapped out of his stupor before he bowed and rushed off, leaving Izumo with the caravan. Since Hokage-sama was expecting you, then I believe that you will be able to enter without complaints. However, he is unavailable at the moment, so if you would be so kind as to wait, then we can arrange a meeting for you as soon as possible, Izumo said while Kisa smiled. Very well. Then we'd simply like to check into our hotel, then that will work out, Kisa said, and Izumo nodded slowly. It took a little while, but then Izumo widened his eyes. Did you say you would like to check into your hotel? Izumo asked, and Kisa nodded. That is right. Is there a problem? Kisa asked, and Izumo gulped. And no problems, Kisa-san. Let me arrange that for you. Crap, we thought we had more time to arrange them for a more pleasant setting. All the rooms are booked now. Shit, we are so fucked. Hokage-sama, think of something, Izumo shouted out mentally before holding out his hand. Well, I'm sure you're tired, so allow me to take you to the Hokage mansion and there everything will be finalized, Izumo said while Kisa gave a small glare, but it quickly vanished into nothingness. Very well, Konoha Shinobi-san. We will follow your lead, Kisa said, and Izumo nodded as he began to walk them away. As they began to walk into the village, everyone bunched up together, leaving Tsunami, Inari, Kisa, and Zabuza out of the loop. They totally forgot, didn't they? Chimera asked and Ranka sighed. Apparently their asses weren't expecting us. Kami, who knows where the hell we're going to stay, Ranka shouted. Amaru slumped her shoulders and Temujin shook his head while pinching the bridge of his nose. Is this really the village that Naruto-sama has so much faith in? Amaru asked before Chimera placed a finger to her lips. Sure, Amaru. We're not to mention Master's name once in this village. He's not ready to be revealed yet. However, I do hope that we see him sometime. I miss him, Chimera said with a sudden smile. Whatever. You only missed the time where you could poke at his whisker marks. Master always did have a soft spot for you, Chimera. You and Amaru-san, Temujin said while Chimera stuck out her tongue. Oi, don't fall behind, brats. Zabuza's voice called out from afar and everyone moved to catch up, them and the rest of the caravan of assistants toward the Hokage mansion. Tower. And Naruto-sensei, is this really something that has to be done? Sakura asked, shivering in the cold. But there was a reason for this, and that was because she didn't have a shirt on, only a simple training bra, while Naruto continued to use an ink brush to create extensions of the seals present on Sakura's body. Sakura, I said, don't move. This is indeed a delicate process. I couldn't do this if most of your body wasn't exposed. Is this uncomfortable? Naruto asked, and Sakura looked at the ground. And no, Sakura said rather meekly, hiding the pink tint across her nose. Feeling Naruto's hands over her shoulders and back felt so nice. Plus, Sakura felt that there wasn't a need to be embarrassed over Naruto seeing her. Ever since he gave her the first checkup, then Sakura was a lot more comfortable with Naruto looking over her than before, so this didn't bother her. The only thing that bothered her was how cold the air was and how ticklish she was from the brush. Kami, Sakura cut it out. This is to make you stronger. Now is not the time to be focusing on your fantasies. Though, I wouldn't mind it if Naruto-kun teased me with a brush, Sakura thought to herself, and unknown to Naruto, his student couldn't help the sudden thoughts in her head. Stay still, Sakura, this is a delicate process. I will draw my most perfect symbol on your body. You are mine, and like the blank canvas that you are, I will make you my most beautiful masterpiece, Sakura inwardly said in her best Naruto voice while she responded. Oh sensei, yes, please make Sakura yours forever. I will be your most beautiful work. Please touch me with your brush, Sakura thought. My your foolishly naughty cherry blossom. If that is what you wish, Sakura said to herself again, and it didn't take long before Sakura fell to the ground, prompting Naruto to narrow his eyes. Sakura, Sakura, what is the matter? Naruto asked, and he only saw Sakura with a happy expression and a slight nosebleed. The blonde raised an eyebrow before slowly pinching the bridge of his nose. 10 minutes later, Sakura was utterly silent while Naruto continued to make his adjustments. Gomen, Naruto-sensei, Sakura said, hanging her head down. Naruto merely shook his head, though Sakura couldn't see it. No need for apologies, Sakura. Just because next time. You were lucky that I stopped drawing in time, or most likely this wouldn't be working. How is your head? Naruto asked, and Sakura slowly nodded. Fine. I don't feel lightheaded anymore, Sakura said, and Naruto nodded once again. I see. Well then, that works well. I'd rather not do this if you weren't well enough for it, Naruto said, and Sakura sighed. Well, how much longer are you going to be drawing? Sakura asked, hoping to get some training in today. Her body had been feeling rather stiff, and she wanted to loosen it up for tomorrow. She was sure that people would be getting in tomorrow because tomorrow was when the second stage ended. Naruto swirled the brush from one seal to the next and glanced somewhere else. Forget training, Sakura. When I'm done, you won't be waking up until tomorrow, Naruto said, and Sakura glanced back to him. Oh, Sakura said dejectedly before Naruto sighed to himself. You don't need to be concerned. You will do fine and you will wake up in time for the next stage. You will be stronger than you are now, Naruto said, and Sakura rose her eyes with sudden exuberance. Really? Sakura asked, and Naruto slowly nodded, but said nothing more while Sakura gave him the patience that he needed. It honestly wasn't long before Naruto was putting the finishing touches on Sakura, ending with her face. He drew a single line down her cheek and then carefully drew a single dot on her forehead. Done. Alright, Sakura, are you sure that you have all your chakra? Naruto asked, and Sakura nodded quickly, but firmly. Very well. When you're unconscious, I will place you on the bed and close the door. No one should disturb you, Naruto answered. He placed his finger on the dot on Sakura's forehead. Sakura gulped, and faster than she could ever expect, a jolt of intense pain raced through her body, forcing her to clench her teeth and ball her fists until all faded to black. Sakura's vision of Naruto went hazy until she leaned her head back. His body followed suit, and she nearly slammed her head into the floor before Naruto caught her in his arms. He had just drained all of Sakura's chakra down in that one move. Well, maybe he shouldn't say all. If he did it all, then she'd be dead, but he brought it down to the bare minimum. Rest, Sakura, and show me what you plan to do with your promise of strength, Naruto said, picking up the unconscious young pink-haired girl bridal style. He opened the door to the room and gently placed Sakura on the bed, then pushed up the covers over her body. Keep her safe, Naruto said without looking back, sensing Rinko, Tuka and Fu right behind him. Yes, father, they said, taking up residence on the bed as well. Actually, father, can I come with you? Tuka asked, and Naruto blinked. Tilting his head to the side, he closed his eyes for a little while. What is this about, Tuka? Naruto asked. No stern talk or firm tone, just natural curiosity. Well, you've been gone for a while and I feel like you and I never spend time together. I worry about you a lot, and Rinko said I should ask. I will stay if you want me to, Tuka said before she gasped as Naruto picked her up. Is that a fact? Well, you can always come to me if an issue concerns you. Let's go, Tuka, Naruto said, slightly smiling while Tuka yipped happily. Is this all right with you both? Naruto asked to the others. Fu and Rinko smiled before shaking their heads. No, father. Go spend time with Tuka. She whimpered a lot at night when you weren't here, Fu said while Tuka snarled. I did not. Tuka growled back while Fu snickered. However, before he could offer his retort about his sister, Naruto walked out of the room and closed the door, leaving Fu to pout. Rinko snickered before dropping to the ground. I don't understand either of you. Why are you always fighting? Rinko asked, and Fu turned his head to the side. None of your business, Nei-san, Fu said while Rinko chuckled darkly. Wanna repeat that, Fu? Out of the three of us, I'm still the strongest, Rinko said while Fu snarled. That's up for debate, he said, and Rinko snarled. Oh, is that right? Rinko asked, and Fu nodded. Both stayed in the room, but the sounds of light scuffling could be heard, though both made sure to try and keep it quiet. Meanwhile, Naruto continued to softly pet Tuka's white fur, making her sigh in content as he walked through the halls. So what is the agenda for today, father? Tuka asked, and Naruto sighed. There are a few things that require my attention. I will see if I am able to get them done today, but if I can't, then I simply can't. Naruto focused his eyes on the center room just past the halls where his team had entered through the front door yesterday morning or afternoon. Looking down below, he actually saw a sight that didn't really surprise him. Standing on that floor was Ryuzetsu, Sai and Haku, each being instructed by Fugai as their sensei. Fugai seemed to be telling them the order or purpose to the exam for that round, as well as the chance that Exodus had finally arrived to Konoha given the schedule that Fugai had been given by Kisa. To which she had spoken in a quiet tone so no one else heard. But I'm glad that the three of you are alright. I had expected nothing less of the three of you. Be sure to be here tomorrow, as all the students who made it will be here for the next stage. Now then, go off and rest, Fugai said, getting a nod from Ryuzetsu, Haku and Sai. All turned to leave, and Ryuzetsu suddenly looked up to find something that caught her interest. Tapping Fugai's shoulder, getting the older woman to glance to her, Ryuzetsu pointed forward and soon all eyes locked on to Naruto's form as he stared down at them. Sai offered his usual fake smile, but Naruto knew the intentions behind that smile very well. Haku merely watched him closely, her eyes trailing from the top of his head down to the bottom of his feet. The images of that day on the bridge still fresh in her mind. Unconsciously Haku rubbed her cheek, remembering how hard Sakura had taken her out with nothing but a burst of chakra and brute strength. For Haku, it felt like getting hit by a large slab of stone, and trying to imagine just how limited Naruto had kept her only served for Haku to respect the blonde's strength all the more. Plus Haku had been told by Zabuza that he was probably one of the reasons why she was even alive to see tomorrow. Ryuzetsu and Fugai were silent. They had only spoken with Naruto those few months ago after nearly 6 years of not having seen the blonde at all. Both remembered very well their history with the young genin, and both were eternally grateful. If they weren't, then neither would have stuck around as much as they had. Well, actually it was better to say that they wouldn't have followed him if they didn't respect him so much. The things that he had done for them were numerous, and yet at the same time they centered to an individual problem. For Fugai, Naruto was a promise of hope in a corrupt world, though the blonde seemingly sought to argue about how he viewed himself. For Ryuzetsu, he was a good friend and even greater leader. Most probably didn't see it, but Ryuzetsu saw it clearly. In fact, her loyalty to the blonde was so strong. Actually, some might say it was too strong. For Ryuzetsu, loyalty meant to be obedient to someone even to death. If Naruto told Ryuzetsu to die, then she would do it without even asking why, and that was something that inwardly concerned Naruto. He didn't need anyone dying because of him. Well, rather than say that, he would say that he wouldn't go and order their deaths. Ryuzetsu knew that wasn't how Naruto thought. No, his way of thinking was much too complex for that. Naruto gave a small bow before turning on his heel and walking off, removing himself from the place that he had just been while Fugai cleared her throat, getting everyone's attention. Alright team, you're dismissed. Now get out of here and don't you dare be late, or so help me if I don't beat all of your asses where you stand. Fugai said, then proceeded to escort her team to their living arrangements. As they walked, Ryuzetsu and Haku sighed while Sai merely kept smiling like he usually did. You think she's getting a little too into her new position? Haku asked while Ryuzetsu sighed. Just forget it. You haven't worked with Fugai like I have. She's very precise. Trust me, it can get annoying when you're with her, Ryuzetsu said, smiling while Haku snickered to herself as the team left the room behind. Meanwhile, Naruto and Tuka's travels took them to the 3rd floor of the tower. Naruto had to find Anko for one reason or another. Now that Naruto thought about it, he had never actively searched for Anko before. For one reason or the other, he could feel that she was having a tough time with something, but what he didn't know. It was easy to say that his curiosity got the better of him this once. Naruto was sure that by this time Anko had told Sarutobi that they were partners. It was something that was to be reported immediately, so certain arrangements could be made regarding teams and the like, but Naruto was sure that there had never truly been a record of a Tokubetsu Jonin and Genin partnering before. He very well could be wrong about such a thing, as he had no idea of all the things that went down in Konoha, and truthfully he could care less. Let people do what they will with their lives until they cross him. Naruto also never pretended to try and say that he knew everything, because he didn't. He would never know everything there was to know in the world, and those who tried were foolishly wasting their times. If they had time to look at the past, then they could look to the future. Of course, there was that whole looking to the past to go to a better future type thing, and Naruto would admit that. But with his past, then he wondered if people could truly think that way, especially someone like Anko. Suddenly Naruto winced before he let out a cough. This cough woke Tuka up as she turned to Naruto, watching him bring out another cough. Father? Tuka asked before she widened her eyes as Naruto dropped to her the ground, and in one fell swoop the blonde dropped as well. Coughing heavily, Tuka fell to her feet, while Naruto placed one hand on the wall for leverage. He coughed violently, dropping to one knee while his nails scratched the walls. Father! What's wrong? Are you okay? Father! Tuka said, and it didn't take long for her nose to pick up the scent of Naruto's blood. She looked at his hand and noticed a small quantity of the blonde's blood on his hands. Damn it! This isn't the lasting damage from Orochimaru. Then this has to be that. It still hasn't healed yet, Naruto thought to himself. He quickly made his hands glow green to recover the damage, but he just couldn't concentrate enough for it to work. Bearing too much pain, Naruto was forced to see Tuka's scared expression of worrying about him as the blood from his chin slowly dripped to the ground. Scrunching up, Naruto grunted while his vision grew hazy. What the hell happened to you? You okay over there? Naruto heard someone's voice and the rapid sound of footsteps. He heard Tuka speaking with the mysterious person and Naruto couldn't even think about their surprise over the issue. The last thing that he saw was the person's heel before he passed out on the floor with the person's shouting leaving his mind. 6th floor tower. Kotetsu quickly huffed and panted, gasping for air as he knocked on the door of an office. Come in, came the voice of the elderly Hokage as Kotetsu opened the door, taking little notice of Kakashi, Asuma, Guy, and Kurenai in the room. The four were there merely being told of some progress reports, but all stopped and turned to Kotetsu. Hokage-sama, urgent business, Kotetsu said between breathing, drawing attention to him. Is it Orochimaru? Sarutobi asked, and Kotetsu shook his head, getting relief from everyone else, but he continued anyway. No sir, but it's still very much important. Hokage-sama, Exodus came to Konoha, Kotetsu said, and Kakashi raised an eyebrow while Guy blinked confusingly. Kurenai and Asuma raised their eyebrows while Sarutobi narrowed his eyes at the response. We weren't expecting them until the end of the week, Hiruzen spoke, and Kotetsu slowly nodded. Hi, apparently they came very early. Izumo has them in the Hokage mansion at the moment, but well, we have no available rooms. The rooms we were planning on using are now made for the Tsuchikage, his associates, and the Reikage, and his associates. That's not even counting the Kazekage, Kotetsu said, finally getting his breath while Sarutobi sighed to himself. He pinched the bridge of his nose and stood to his feet. Are there any rooms available? Sarutobi asked, and Kotetsu held his head down. Not unless we find someone who can house that many people, and even then it would have to an exceptional place. Also, since they are at the Hokage mansion, Kisa-san has asked to meet Team Kakashi as quickly as possible, Kotetsu said, and Sarutobi gave a small sigh, as did Kakashi. That's a problem. I don't know where Sasuke is, and Sakura is unconscious in the room. The medics checked her out, and turns out that she used a lot more chakra than we thought. Her reserves were dangerously low, almost to the point that she killed herself. I'll take a more active approach in monitoring her. I won't have anyone on my team dying. She should be awake by tomorrow or something like that. And then there was the sudden announcement. Naruto was administered to the medic room. It turns out he collapsed suddenly, and he's lost some blood. He's resting now, I heard, Kakashi said, and Sarutobi held his head down. He really did worry about how Naruto was doing, having gotten that news just a little while ago, but he still had other things to think about, and Naruto would have to wait. What? I never heard that. Is he alright? Kurenai asked, and Kakashi scratched the back of his head. No one knows. The person who rescued him is still there watching over him. Apparently she encountered some resistance in getting Naruto help, but I handled it, Kakashi said, and Hiruzen nodded. Very well then, for now I will go to the Hokage mansion. We will let them use those rooms under the guise of having their hotel under construction. I'd rather not anger them when they have been generous to us so far. Kakashi got back to Naruto-kun. No doubt he'll be confused when he wakes up, Hiruzen said, and Kakashi gave an eye smile. Right, Naruto confused. That's a good one, Hokage-sama, Kakashi said, taking out his orange book and making a way for the exit, leaving the others to their own thoughts as he closed the door to the room. Also, Hokage-sama, reports have come from the Anbu. They say that Jiraiya-sama is in the village. Apparently the message about Orochimaru had him picking up his pace here to the village. We don't know where he is now, but we're sure that he will turn up soon, Kotetsu said, and Sarutobi nodded. Very well. We will deal with the current problem right now. Though with no rooms I am sure I can't find a very good place for them. Well, we'll think of something. Kurenai, find Anko and Hate. Tell them to relay my instructions to the genin who made it, and I will be back later. I'm sorry, Kurenai, but you will have to put your team at the back of your mind for now. We have more pressing matters, Hiruzen said suddenly, and Kurenai hung her head low. Hi, Hokage-sama, Kurenai said, and Sarutobi nodded before he walked off with Kotetsu, leaving Asuma, Guy and Kurenai alone. Kurenai, I'm sure that they are fine. Wanna talk about it? Asuma asked, and Kurenai shook her head. No, Asuma, that's okay. Just do whatever you want. I'm going to go find Anko, Kurenai said, opening and closing the door. Guy and Asuma turned to each other while Guy patted Asuma's shoulder. Do not worry, my youthful friend. I'm sure that Kurenai will be back to normal in no time. Now then, how about we have a challenge since we have some free time? We will truly test our flames of youth since Kakashi has abandoned me, Guy said with a thumbs up while Asuma's sweat dropped. Thanks, Guy, but I've got some important matters to attend to. Maybe, next time, Asuma said, and Guy grinned. Very well, my youthful comrade. Next time it is, and I have the perfect challenge for the both of us. Just you wait and see, Guy shouted before dashing off, leaving Asuma to shudder. Damn it, Kakashi. Why did you have to leave me alone with this guy? Now I've got his damn challenge to deal with. Man, I need a nap, Asuma said with a yawn while stroking the back of his neck alone in the office. Medical room. Naruto's chest felt heavy. Something sort of big was pressing against it. His nose twitched and the smell of disinfectants, antibiotics, and other medical equipment assaulted his ears. Feeling his heart beat in his chest, Naruto twitched one of his fingers. He had already assumed that he was in the medical bay of the tower. If the sheets on his body and pillow under his head were any indication. How pitiful of him, and how he must have looked to whoever helped him out. He'd have to remember to give his thanks. It was only appropriate and downright respectful. However, he also wondered how long he had been sleeping. Naruto would have to run a diagnostic on his body when he had the opportunity. He could have something like that happening in the midst of a battle. Though it seemed that wounds still don't heal as well as he had to think sometimes. Father, please don't die. What will we do if you die? Naruto heard Tuka's voice and ignored the pounding in his head. No doubt from losing the blood came a small headache, but a little rest and Naruto would be fine. Naruto opened his eyes and saw the surprised look on Tuka's face. Father, you're alive. You're alive, Tuka said, burying her head into Naruto's neck. The blonde couldn't help a small groan before he held up his hands and wrapped them around Tuka's frame. Tuka sniffled while failing entirely to hide the happiness in her smile. Naruto sighed to himself as he slowly leaned up and looked out the window. He wasn't surprised at all to see that it was nearing sunset. Well, look who just woke up. Welcome back, Blondie, came a voice, and Naruto narrowed his eyes. He turned and noticed Kakashi and an Iwa Kunoichi come through the door. Frowning slightly, Naruto closed his eyes and shook his head. How are you feeling, Naruto? Kakashi asked, and Naruto's response was to throw the bed sheets off his body and land to the ground on his feet. Fine, Hatake. What happened when I was asleep? Naruto asked, and Kakashi sighed to himself. You shouldn't even be up. The medic said that you need rest, she said, and Naruto scrunched his face slightly. I have said that I am fine. Do not worry about it, Naruto said, and the girl gawked while Kakashi chuckled. Well, anyway, Naruto. After the second stage of the exams are over, then you, Sasuke, Sakura, and I will go to the Hokage mansion. I told you why, so I want you guys to be together. I found Sasuke a few hours ago training with one of the Chunins supervising him. I had him go back to the room and check on Sakura. I don't know what he's doing now, but hopefully he's keeping an eye on Sakura, Kakashi said, and Naruto slightly raised an eyebrow. So Sakura is not awake at this time? Well, I figured that. She will probably be awake tomorrow. That would be beneficial for her. Well, it's not like I am in a hurry. Let her take her time. She will be ready when she feels the need to be. That's the young woman I am training, Naruto thought to himself. I see, Naruto said while the girl snickered. Kami, you have me a shock. Imagine my surprise when I'm walking through the halls and hear shouting, from a tiny fox no less, and see your ass unconscious on the floor. Damn it, I dragged your ass all the way to the medical bay. Sheesh, worrying my ass like that. I can't believe it. Do you have any idea how lucky you are that I was around? Where is my thanks? She asked, and Naruto turned his steely eyes towards her. She then stalled in her speaking as his eyes seemed to ask for silence. Naruto stared at her for a second before slowly sighing. Uzumaki Naruto, Iwa Kunoichi-san. May I have your name? Naruto asked, and the girl blinked at the polite tone before scratching her cheek. Kuratsuchi, and wait, you're that guy who spoke back to the proctor for the first exam talking about shinobi and responsibility, she said, but Naruto didn't reply to that. Thank you for what you have done for me, Kuratsuchi-san. I would rather not think about what might have happened if you hadn't been there. I'm in your debt, and you have my gratitude, Naruto said, bowing his head while the girl snorted. Whatever. I'm just doing what any decent person would do, she said, looking at the wall, making Kakashi giggle slightly. At least until both noticed Naruto grab his jacket and fling it over his shoulder as he made his way towards the door. You sure you should be walking? Kuratsuchi asked while Naruto passed her. I have wasted enough time. Doing that again doesn't benefit me. I will be on my way, Naruto said, walking out of the door and through a hallway. Ah, damn it, man, would you wait up? Where do you get this energy? Kuratsuchi asked, suddenly finding herself running after Naruto, leaving Kakashi in the doorway. Still having trouble expressing yourself, huh, Naruto? Well, I think that you've come into your own now. Though you still don't know how to treat a woman with care, and that's not good. Do that and you won't find a decent partner, Kakashi said with an eye smile before walking off. Yes, he was still greatly concerned over Naruto. But if the blonde said he was fine, then Kakashi was sure that Naruto was old enough and mature enough to make that decision for himself, Kakashi figured. In the meantime, Tuka was looking up at Naruto in slight worry of him. How could she not? She had just seen her father in a hospital bed after coughing up blood, so it would stand to reason that she would be worried. Father, are you sure that you're okay? Maybe you should take that man's advice and lay down, Tuka said to him, and Naruto looked down at her worried expression before offering a slight smile. Do not worry, Tuka. I am fine now, I promise. You have no need to be worried, Naruto said, and Tuka just slowly began to nod, though for some reason she couldn't bring herself to entirely believe that. I said, wait a minute. How long are you going to ignore me? Naruto and Tuka blinked as Tuka looked over Naruto's shoulder to see the girl named Kuratsuchi walking after him. Naruto didn't have to turn around as he had already memorized the girl's way of talking. Plus, he had realized that she had been walking after him for some time. Suddenly stopping, Naruto took a deep breath and exhaled before turning around. Might I be able to help you, Kuratsuchi-san? Naruto asked, his eyes still as low as usual. The Iwa Kunoichi huffed and growled, looking at the blonde, but couldn't keep her glare on him for long before standing up straight. What was that all about back there? Kuratsuchi asked, and Naruto frowned. I do not understand the question, Naruto said, and she brunette groaned before shaking her fists. I mean, why were you laid out on the ground like a carpet filled with blood? Something wrong with you? She asked, and Naruto turned his gaze to the ground while Tuka took the time to examine the girl in front of her. Do not be concerned with it. It's merely something that only concerns me. I had offered my thanks to you before, but I have somewhere that I need to be, Naruto said, taking his steps to walk away. What? You think I'm going to use this to my advantage if we fight or something? Don't be ridiculous. Where's the fun in fighting you if you're not at your best? She asked with a firm grin. Naruto stopped mid-step and closed his eyes. Such things will get you killed. If you see an opportunity to kill your opponent, then you should take it, as it is more than likely that you will get another one. In this cruel world of life and death, those who try to fight others at their best are the ones who usually wind up dead, Naruto said, and Kuratsuchi frowned. Is that how the yandere thought? You look a lot like him. So much so that my teammates utterly hate your ass, she said, and to her surprise there was no shock or hatred in Naruto's eyes. Nope, only sternness, slight understanding, and a feeling of wasted efforts on foolish matters that didn't deal with him. What the yandere did has nothing to do with me. I do not know how he thought, nor does it concern me. I also have little care for how your teammates view me. If you have the time to hate, then you have the time to better yourself to something profitable instead of something that will continue to make people unhappy, Naruto said, and Kuratsuchi winced slightly at the tone in his voice, the very cold tone. Well, that's the world we live in, isn't it? I wouldn't say I hate any of the villages, but they get in the way of what is right, Kuratsuchi said, and Naruto closed his eyes once again. No one is ever completely right. No one is ever completely perfect. What is right to you will not be right to someone else. If you believe that you're right all the time, then you will fall to the poison known as arrogance, and this will lead towards your death. It's how most shinobi die before the age of 20, Naruto explained. You sound like you speak from experience, she said, and Naruto gave a humorless chuckle. Is that so? Maybe I do, Naruto said, more to himself than in answer to Kuratsuchi. The brunette raised an eyebrow before she noticed the slightly saddened look in Naruto's eyes while simultaneously watching his hand caress took his fur up and down, getting gentle grumbles from the white fox. Hey, are you okay? Kuratsuchi asked, and Naruto's eyes slowly returned to normal. Yes, I am fine. However, I must say that I am surprised. I had not expected the granddaughter of the Tsuchikage to be so inquisitive, Naruto said, and Kuratsuchi widened her eyes before tightening her fists. Where did you hear that? I never mentioned it, Kuratsuchi said, and Naruto shook his head. You underestimate yourself and your status. People within lots of countries know of the Tsuchikage's granddaughter. You were spoken of to have exceptional Doton techniques. Some say you even have a mysterious Kekai Genkai, Naruto said, and Kuratsuchi narrowed her eyes. This guy is dangerous. He couldn't possibly know all of this. Okay, fine, the granddaughter thing might be a giveaway, but he couldn't possibly know I had a Kekai Genkai. I never used it in front of anyone, Kuratsuchi thought to herself before she noticed Naruto turn around. Well, I shouldn't be asking questions of you if I won't do the same for you. Farewell, Kuratsuchi-san. I believe we will cross paths again, Naruto said, then walked off. He would have to talk with Anko some other time. He needed to feed his kids and rest himself for later purposes. Wait! Kuratsuchi shouted, causing Naruto to stop and getting him to look back. If I said that I hated the way a village system works and wished to tear it down, would you laugh at me? Kuratsuchi asked, and Naruto raised an eyebrow. Tear down a village system? How was that supposed to work? The numerous procedures that probably went into such a thing were entirely too complicated for someone by themselves. Naruto saw her looking at him firmly, expecting an answer from him. Naruto just sighed again and looked back at the long hallway. Hardly. Those who dare to laugh at someone's dream have no right to have dreams of their own. I am unsure of the things that you want to do, and I don't truly wish to get involved. Do what you wish, Kuratsuchi-san. Thank you for your time, Naruto said, walking off, and Kuratsuchi widened her eyes. She watched his leaving form before scratching her cheek. Okay, fine. So maybe he wasn't as bad as some in his village had told her. Kuratsuchi gave a smirk before turning around and walking off. She doubted her teammates would believe her, but she had her own proof to go by. She wouldn't admit it, but she was glad she helped him those hours ago. Kuratsuchi walked off the other way to go back to her room with a big smile. Naruto Uzumaki, a name to remember. Naruto narrowed his eyes slowly before closing them, and even he couldn't stop the even line of his lips. Kuratsuchi of IWA. Interesting, Naruto thought to himself before he disappeared, never returning to anyone's view for the rest of the day. Hospital. Hurry! Hurry! Bring the anesthetic right now! Put them to sleep! The head doctor shouted to the nurses and other medic men as screams of intense pain could be heard in 3 different rooms, each one more heartbreaking than the last one. But sir, we don't have the medical expertise for this. We used most of the anesthetic to keep them quiet all this time, but it's not working anymore. We don't know what's wrong with them, one of the nurses shouted while the man sucked his teeth, holding down one of the genin in front of him. Where is their sensei? He shouted, but the nurse shook her head quickly, prompting the head medic to curse as the genin's claws dug into his skin. TCH. Looks like I have no choice. Forgive me for what I'm about to do, the head medic said as he touched the genin's neck. 2 quick snaps and all went silent as he dropped to the bed. The medic then went to the other 2 rooms and proceeded to do the same thing, effectively silencing the deafening screams, making the hospital quiet once again. He sighed to himself before falling back to a chair. I want a sample of their blood immediately. Also, I want to notify Hokage-sama and their sensei, the doctor said, getting the nurse to nod before they heard the rapid sound of footsteps. The sensei of the team quickly came, huffing with wide eyes while the doctor turned to her. Kurenai-san? He asked, and Kurenai nodded quickly while the doctor held his head down. We're still in the process of figuring out what happened to your team. It's a make luck that Anko-san came across them before they reached the tower. If they made it then by this time they would have been dead, but judging from their reactions then I'd say that it won't be long before they... The doctor trailed off, leaving Kurenai to gasp. Well, what's the cause? Why are you just standing here? You should be doing your job. Kurenai growled out angrily while the doctor sighed. I will do all in my power, but at this point they are all exhibiting signs of extreme hallucinations and sensory deprivation. None are made more apparent than inside the young girl, Hinata Hyuga. I had the head nurse check with me about her. It seems that she is resisting the procedures. She flails around like she's trying to fight something or someone, but as she screams she not only keeps saying I'm sorry but she also talking about another genin, the doctor said, and Kurenai frowned. Which genin? Kurenai asked, and the doctor gave another sigh while taking off his glasses to clean them a little, then placed them back on his face. Uzumaki Naruto, the doctor said, causing Kurenai to raise her eyebrows in surprise. Naruto-san? What does he have to do with this? I'd better get their parents, just to be safe, Kurenai said to herself before quickly walking off without another word to the doctor, who had assumed she was going to go deal with the grief right now. He, in the meantime, would find out what was happening to these three heirs and hopefully prevent whatever was happening with them. He just knew one thing: these three were most definitely not going to make the rest of the Chunin exams. Shame too, they had actually gotten 2 scrolls to pass. But whatever attacked them, either their stress or an enemy, this enemy was dangerous and in the Chunin exam. Next morning. How are you feeling, Sakura? Naruto asked while the now awake pink-haired Kunoichi groaned, and soon after rubbed her shoulders. A little disoriented, Naruto-sensei, and a little sore, but I don't feel any different, Sakura said, opening her hands then closing them multiple times to get some kind of feel for them. Naruto gave an even look before proceeding to take out his orange Ika and catch up to the current volume. Well, you will be fine. You had your chakra run down to nearly 0 and then hastily brought back together. That will cause some things. Just let yourself settle, Naruto said, and Sakura slowly nodded. When she took a look at Naruto, she noticed that he seemed to be distracted by something else other than his reading of his totally not perverted book. Not that Sakura cared. Naruto had made a very clear distinction of genre of books, telling her not to be so one-sided and single-minded. He said that books, regardless of what they spoke of, books were meant to entice the reader or inform, to let their mind wander to possibilities. There was never such a thing as a bad book, only people who failed to understand its purpose. Needless to say, but Sakura hadn't looked at a book the same way again. Of course, that did little to stop her blush from spreading across her cheeks at some of the lines that she read. Though the worst part was imagining those things being done to her by a certain sensei of hers. Sakura shook her head while quickly looking around the room at all the team who had made it. Naturally, Team 7 had made it quite easily. Then there was the Kumo team led by Samui, then Omoi and Karui. After them was the Suna team, who had come in as the first team to get to the tower. Right behind them was the team from IWA. She could see 2 of the IWA nins giving glares at Naruto for whatever reason, as Sakura was sure that Naruto hadn't done anything to warrant the hate of an IWA nin, but then again Sakura had always figured that Naruto had a life all to himself. A life that no one else knew about except him. Sakura had hoped that one day they would be able to sit down and talk about that life, but anyway. Right next to the team from IWA was Ino's team, Team 10. They had made it, to which didn't really surprise Sakura at all, seeing as how she had come to respect Shikamaru's intellect, having had the pleasure of playing a Shugi game with him, as were Naruto's instructions in her way of learning strategic planning. After them was the team from Oto. Sakura was sure that she left those guys in the dust. She was surprised that they made it as they did. However, she could see the large cast over the person whose gauntlet got broken by Sasuke. He really looked like he had seen better days. After them was Tenten's team. They had made it also, which Sakura had merely been happy about. Since being trained by Naruto daily, Sakura had the opportunity of meeting Tenten whenever the bun-haired girl came to see Naruto, and have him review her work in blacksmithing. Yeah, Sakura and Tenten got along real well. After them was the team from Exodus. Ryuzetsu Haku, which still surprised the hell out of Sakura, and lastly the unknown Sai. Sakura couldn't say that she had an opinion on them. Then the last two teams happened to be the team from Taki with that green-haired girl who happened to be nursing a bruised cheek and the team from Konoha with that shifty asshole, Kabuto Yakushi. Sakura casted a slight glare at him before discarding her thoughts and turning forward. Naruto-kun, I don't see Hinata and her team, Sakura said, and Naruto held his book down looking through the room. Even though the statement wasn't directed at him, Sasuke was looking around as well. Not a single sight of the Hyuga, the Inuzuka, or the Aburame. Well, Sasuke didn't care. Less people for him to deal with or get in his way. For Naruto, his eyes lowered slightly and outwardly Naruto was neutral. Inwardly, Naruto had indeed frowned. While he had figured that victory for every team was beyond foolish from the Inuzuka's boasting, then Naruto expected them to at least show up. Well, Naruto knew Kiba's pride tied very well. More than likely from that pride he didn't call his partner like he should have, but Naruto also couldn't really judge since he refused help from a lot of people in fights. Now that he thought about it, whether he had thought people weren't helping him or not, they actually were helping him, and he would have to acknowledge that. He would also have to thank them all. Don't be worried, Sakura. I doubt that they have died. They have a greater strength than that to be wasted in a place like this. However, if they have, then mourn them silently. Always be sure to pay respects to your friends who have passed away, but before you do that, trust in them that you believe they were strong enough, and responsible enough, to look after each other and make it out alive, Naruto said, and despite the words confusing her, Sakura just smiled. Hi, Naruto-kun. Thank you, Sakura said, causing Naruto to nod. He looked up and slowly frowned when he took notice of all Jonin-sensei to all the teams at the top of the railings. However, in front of his and everyone else's view stood a sickly-looking Jonin, Enko Mitarashi, and Ibiki Marino. Enko and Naruto shared a glance with each other for a few seconds. Enko gave a cheeky grin and scratched her cheek before looking away while Naruto sighed to himself and slowly shook his head. That didn't last long, however, until he heard a voice that surprised even him. Chunin candidates, present yourselves. Congratulate yourselves for passing through the second stage of the Chunin exams. Naruto looked up, as did everyone else, to see Danzo standing in front of them all. Naruto narrowed his eyes while some others asked why one of the council members was here instead of the Hokage like some figured, but Danzo didn't give them the time to ask him any questions. Now then, before I continue, are there any weak-willed people who don't want to continue? You will be taken out immediately, Danzo said, no hint of humor, warmth, or personality in his voice. Something Naruto already expected, but having heard it enough was non-effective for him. Over here. Yes, sorry, but my team is tired. In more ways than one. We'd like to leave, came the voice of Kabuto Yakushi. Naruto frowned and offered his glare, as did Ryuzetsu, Samui, Sakura, Sasuke, and a few others. Whatever. Get yourself out of my face. You're a disgrace to Konoha Shinobi. Kabuto winced at the ice-cold tone, but he and his team walked off, leaving the room one team down. Danzo-sama, if at all possible, I would like to take over from here, came the voice of the sickly Jonin. Danzo turned a small glare at him, but snorted. Very well, but make it quick, Danzo said. The man nodded with a bow and then jumped off the railing to the ground. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Hate Gecko, and it seems that we're in a little of a predicament. Judging from this group, when you came in, we were not expecting a team to give up right here. We had planned to have a preliminary for the teams since you had too many, but now, well, we're sort of stuck since this is a good number to just go the third stage, Hate said before coughing into his hands, making a few people concerned for the Jonin's health before he calmed down. So just move us on to the third stage, came the voice of Kintsuchi from Oto. Others began to nod in agreement with her for this to just hurry up. Some only had a few hours of rest, having gotten in just that night before, and were just ready for this thing to be over. Unfortunately, it's not that simple. Changing just at the last minute is hardly proper and unethical, to say the least. That's why we're going to be hosting a different type of third stage. We plan to have a tournament-style competition, but since that's out the window, then we're making it simple. Elimination is the third stage, Hate said, getting others to glance at each other. Isn't that what a tournament is, idiot? Kim growled out while Hate sighed, but then Danzo came in. Remember your tone, girl. Another outburst like that, and you will be failed right now, which would bring us one step closer to a quicker round, but we hardly have time for that. The Sandaime Hokage went over this plan 2 nights ago, and most agreed. In 1 month's time you are all going to come back here to this tower and enter back into the Forest of Death. However, this time you will be alone. No team to help you. Your goal is to acquire 6 of these. Once you have 6, then you can leave and you won't have to fight again, or you can be cocky foolish brats and get more picking out others on the spot. Everyone looked up and they noticed small coins in Danzo's hand. So wait, we have to fight 6 times? How does that help us to become Chunin? This time instead of Kin, it was the voice of one of the members from Taki. You should already understand. Strategize, find your limit, and figure out ways to obtain things from others, all the while saving your strength for fights you will deem as important, Danzo said, and Shikamaru sighed. Troublesome, he said, rubbing the back of his head. So we have to fight 6 times to show ourselves to not only the people spectating, but also the noblemen and daimyo of various places as well as the kage, and they will all deem if we're worthy of becoming Chunin? Shikamaru asked, and the one-eyed warhawk nodded. That's right. Also to all of you, once 2 people meet they are to fight regardless if you're on the same team or not. Killing is allowed, but the Umbu will be sure to stop you before that can happen. Also this month will give you the chance to come up with competent techniques of your own to surprise your opponents and overwhelm them. Don't disgrace yourselves. You may fight any type of fight you wish, but if one disagrees then you fight normally. Set any conditions that you wish. All that matters is that you get 6 of these coins and get out, Danzo said while Hate held up a box. Come get your coin. Once you have it then you are free to leave with your team sensei and do what you wish, Hate said, getting everyone to walk forward. Naruto placed a finger to his chin in thought. Something was wrong with this type of 3rd stage. He didn't know why, but he felt a sense of foreboding. He felt like Danzo was trying to tell him something specifically, but Naruto had a difficult time deciphering it. He'd have to think about it once he got home. He didn't have to worry about Sakura. She had been planning to go home once this stage was over. Well, Naruto just let her do what she wished. Naruto moved forward and got his coin while the other members of his team did the same. Once everyone was taken care of, the sensei began to greet their students for one by one. Kakashi came over to his group and patted Sasuke and Naruto's shoulder. Well then, shall we all go to the Hokage mansion and present ourselves? I'm sure that Exodus would be impatient enough as it is, Kakashi said while Sakura snorted. Sure, we're not going to lose you along the way, and you come in 2 hours later talking about how you found a black cat in the forest and had to run through it all to escape some bad luck? Sakura asked, folding her arms while Kakashi's sweat dropped. Naruto, she's definitely got your attitude, only she's a lot more open with it, Kakashi thought before outwardly shaking his head. No, Sakura, I'm feeling a little lucky today anyway. So let's stop wasting time and get going. We ought to make a good first impression. Remember, the stability of Konoha and its funding rest on the 4 of us, Kakashi said, getting Sasuke to place his hands in his pockets and snort. Sakura rolled her eyes, unconcerned by such things, before reaching into her pouch and pulling out one of Naruto's books that he had given her for instruction. Naruto merely sighed, frowned, closed his eyes and folded his arm. Kakashi groaned as he slumped his shoulders. Konoha is doomed, Kakashi thought to himself before he and his team walked away through the doors and entered the forest. They only took a second before they rushed into the trees and began to head for the Hokage mansion. Kakashi only had a feeling of dread come over him as they ran. He didn't know how wrong or right he was. That's it for part 10. Thank you for watching and see you in the next video.